Hi, and thank you for joining me for another video. And friends, we're continuing our shiur on Hilchot Shabbat of the Rambam. We left off last time on Perek Rishon Halacha Dalet. Okay? Reading Halacha Dalet. V'chol makom shenamar mutar la'asot chak v'chach. Everywhere where it says that we're permitted to do this or that, meaning on the Sabbath, harei ze mutar lechatchila. Indeed, it is permitted to do it lechatchila, before the fact. Similarly, where it says that he is not liable in nothing, or he's exempt at any place, we don't strike him at all. And friends, this brings down a very interesting notion that till now I haven't covered in any of my videos, and that's the notion of lechatchila, and what we'll later learn as b'diavad. Literally in English, something done before the fact, or something done after the fact in terms of b'diavad, or how the Rambam is using b'diavad in this chapter, calling it patur mekulum. And friends, this is just another example on how Torah Judaism is a realistic belief system. A belief system that really takes into account the ethical intentions of man. Now, what does this mean? Friends, it means simply that this text, Torah, Halacha, it wars against the notion that something malicious or wicked could occur accidentally. Contrary to the old Christian idea that any transgression requires eternal separation from God or from the Almighty. Or even the Kabbalistic idea that even what is done without intention counts or matters in any way. Sometimes going as far as making their followers feel guilty over mere feelings. Guilty for just living, laying down an unrealistic, not to mention unbiblical standard where no human could ever be considered decent. Nonsense. Why? Because, friends, the Creator could not. He could not be a loving God if he did not constantly take into account not just what occurs in the world, but why did it occur. Right? And without the why and how aspects, you know what? Divine justice could not be properly dispensed. And this, my friends, is where lechatchila and b'diavad come into play. Lechatchila being the ideal and b'diavad being good enough, or b'diavad like the Ashkenazim say. Right? Reminding us that, you know what? All or nothing does not exist in Torah Judaism. And that your best is typically always good enough. Okay? Let me try to give you an example. The Amidah, the standing prayer, is always said standing, clearly. But if for whatever reason one couldn't stand but sat instead, he would still fulfill his obligation b'diavad, right? Now the goal is clearly not to live a b'diavad life, especially when it comes to doing our Creator's will. But friends, if you're well-intentioned and for some reason you fail to perform the mitzvah in its ideal fashion, most of the time you will have a safety net to fall back on. And that's what this concept is really illustrating. And again, here the Rambam is using the word patur mekulum to refer to a type of b'diavad, because here patur still refers to what we covered last time regarding the notion of being exempt from punishment, but still forbidden from performing the action, with the twist of it saying that we do not strike him with lashes at all. Unlike last time's example about patur, which did include lashes. Okay, so again, I'm just reminding you that the Creator and His Torah and these halachot always have you in mind. Okay, halacha hey. Things that we're permitted to do them on Shabbat. If in the hour of doing them it is possible, again, possible, the possibility of things, always painting, my friends, with a fine brush. Again, reminding us that it has us in mind. Now, someone could also say that it could work the other way around, on how just like this halakha or the halakha in general splits hairs in terms of guilt, so it could probably or possibly also split hairs in terms of, let's say, non-innocence also, right? But friends, you know what? This is not the case. Why? Because when you get to learn more halachot, you realize that in regards to innocence, you know what? These odds are always skewed towards our favor, towards our direction, always giving you the benefit of the doubt, unless you're a Ben or Bat Noah, which is another reason to convert. And this, you'll see it's very evident as we study laws of Noah in depth. Okay? Well, anyways, reading on. I'll just read it again. Halacha. Devarim mutarim lasotan b'Shabbat, right? Things that are permissible to do them on Shabbat. Uvishat asiyatan efshar, if in the hour of doing them it is possible. Sheteaseh biglalan melacha, that it is possible to perform melacha accidentally, clearly. Vevshar, and it's also possible that Shelot said that melacha will not be performed. Imlonit kaven, that if the person's not intending to do this, leota melacha, he's not intending to do that melacha, hareze mutar, that means that it's permitted. Again, intentions, my friends. Mutar. Ketzad, how? Or for example, gorer adam mita v'chisei umigdal, if someone is dragging on the ground a bed, a chair, or a cabinet, v'chayotze b'hen b'Shabbat, or something similar on Shabbat, uvilvad shelo yitkaven, provided that he did not intend lakpor charitz bekarcha bishat geridatan, he did not intend to dig a hole or a slit on the soil during the dragging. Ulfichach, therefore, im hafru hakarcha, he actually ends up digging a hole or a slit on the soil. Einu choshesh bechach, he shouldn't be afraid, or it's of no consequence to him. Again, my friends, intentions. Shelo nitkaven, again, because he didn't intend to do it. Vechen, similarly, mechalech adam al gebe asavim b'Shabbat, if someone walks on or upon grass on the Sabbath, uvilvad, provided shelo yitkaven leakor otan, provided he's not intending to uproot the pieces of grass. Lefichach, therefore, im nekaru, the pieces of grass actually do get uprooted. Einu hoshesh, it's of no consequence. He shouldn't fear anything. Actually, this is a practice that's even done today. I mean, it's not done so much, but you know what? I've met people who, let's say, wouldn't even enter a certain building on Shabbat if it was surrounded with grass. You're probably thinking, are they familiar with what the Halacha says? That we just read, that he shouldn't worry about uprooting grass if this is not his intention, and if there isn't at least a 50% chance of it happening or not happening. And friends, this is something you will notice with most of Jewish law. People actually going above and beyond what the actual law entails. And this is not necessarily that they don't know the law or the halakha, but rather, friends, they have failed to understand what constitutes binding law in Judaism. And it's an epidemic that actually arose out of individuals writing commentary on top of commentary of what seemed like straightforward halakha to begin with, ending up with something that actually ended up contradicting the initial law. And friends, this is one reason why the Rambam did not want a commentary written on the Mishnah Torah. Because throughout history, my friends, the commentary has always been society's eraser. Because it's obvious that the only way you change what is written in the text is by reinterpreting it. How they would say about the Soviet Union, that within the Soviet Union, the future is always known, but it is rather the past that keeps on changing. Now, of course, but the Rambam does mention the notion of a commentary in his Hagdama of the same Mishnah Torah. Hold on, let me find this for you. Right? It reads, Kol ha-mitzvot shenitnu lo le-Moshe b'Sinai, that all the commandments were given to Moshe b'Sinai on Mount Sinai. Bevaroshan nitnu, they were given to us with the commentary. Shenemar, v'tena lecha et luchot ha'even v'cha Torah v'cha mitzvah, that we were given the Torah and the mitzvot and the tablet. Torah, it says, zo Torah shebiktav, that the Torah is Torah shebiktav, the written law. U'mitzvah zo perusha, it is the commentary to the Torah. Betivanu la'asot ha'Torah al pi ha'mitzvah. That means we have to keep, we're commanded to keep the Torah according to how the commentary tells us to keep the Torah. U'mitzvah zo hi hanikret Torah shebal peh. And the mitzvah is also called Torah shebal peh, the oral law. So, in many areas, a commentary was necessary, which is what gave these nonsensical commentaries, including the Zohar, which is actually a commentary on Torah Shabbat, the ability to creep in undetected. But the difference, friends, is what was sanctioned from the Torah itself and what other men nowadays erroneously, ignorantly sanctioned. In other words, that even the Torah had to authorize its own commentary for itself. It wasn't for us to make it up how we saw fit. As the Rambam brings down in his Akdamat al-Mishnah Torah, that it is the mitzvah, Halacha l'Moshe Sinai, being transmitted by the Beit Din HaGadol and their rulings judging from Har Habayit, as it states in Parshat Shoftim, that lays down the final commentary for us, the final binding commentary. And just in case you're thinking that because we're studying the Rambam, that we're making him our commentator, or that we hold his personal opinions on the level of Chazal, friends, this is not true at all. Actually, the Rambam, although no one would deny was one of the most learned Torah scholars of all times, really only stands in the spotlight. Not because of what he thought up or what he interpreted, but rather because what he compiled and what he codified, which was the actual applicable rulings from the Beit Din HaGadol alongside the oral traditions that were transmitted from Har Sinai. And this is really the only thing that made the Rambam to us. Which is why I always tell my students that all you actually need is Torah Shebiktav, a Chumash, the 5 books of Moses, and a Mishnah Torah, all of Torah Shebal Peh. Okay, reading on. We're still in Halacha Hey towards the end. Verochetz yadav me'afad haperot vechayotze bo. If someone washes with the dust of fruits or the like, uvilvad, provided shelo yitkaven lechashir hashead, provided he doesn't intend that hair from his hand should fall off. Lefichach, therefore, in nashar, if the hair is removed, Einu Choshesh, he does have no consequence. He shouldn't fear. Now it's going to give another example here. Pirza de Huka, a tight opening. Mutar lehikanes, is permitted to enter it. La Shabbat. Afal pi shemashir serorot. Even though that by entering it, pieces of pebbles or of the wall will fall upon him. V'chein kol davar she'einu mitkaven kegon ze mutar. Similarly, anything that he doesn't intend, likewise, or just like we just said, is permitted on Shabbat. Okay? So again, these two halachot are still enforcing the idea that, my friends, intentions do matter in Torah Judaism, and don't let anyone tell you different. Anyways, friends, I think the time's up for this class. However, my friends, if you're hearing me today and you know what, you're sick and tired of having a religion without purpose, and you know what we're reading is speaking to you, and perhaps you would want to adopt it for yourself as a lifestyle, as something you can pass down to your children, something that wasn't passed down to you, I want to welcome you to consider Torah Judaism. For more information on converting to Torah Judaism, please visit bejewish.org or doordea.com. Thank you.